Now, I know I have a pastry chef in the house, by the way. So, that's the way it goes. So, here's a couple things. What I'd like to do is just show you how to apply this nitrogen into this liquid. And then we're going to probably just get in the kitchen, set up a little bit, and then we'll start working on just some of these components so you can play around. The chef's going to show, first of all, what did you do?
So what we did was, you saw me peeling the grapefruit, and then Chef Miller was kind enough to freeze this. Now, of course, you don't want the pith in there, right? But if you take a look at this, you can actually see. You can actually see how it breaks the little teardrops apart. And one aspect of doing this is for instance, you could use this as the acidic component for salad dressing. So you go through the trouble of making like an olive oil powder. Then you have the grapefruit as the acid part of the vinaigrette, right? So now you have grapefruit. Now you have the olive oil. Then you can do some other seasonings. And one of the things that was an idea behind it is possibly to get a little more complicated. You would put balsamic vinegar in a little spray bottle, and you spray the olive oil foam, and the olive oil turns back to olive oil. So the foam goes away once it gets hit by moisture. So then you would have balsamic vinegar, olive oil, and a little bit of grapefruit as a vinaigrette that you could use for something like asparagus or something like that. But anyway, it just shows you how fast things freeze, right? And then how for instance you can break things up. If we were to supreme these little grapefruit segments, right? Then you don't have to worry about the pith. Then you have a little more control over the seeds, because there might be a couple seeds in here too that you'd have to watch out for, because you don't want somebody biting on those seeds. But anyway, it's just a really cool way of doing something different.
So check it out, guys. Come over here. What I have in here right now is some peppermint glaze and some raspberry puree and simple syrup. So this is going to be the frozen. What would you call that? It's not ice cream. Is it ice cream?
Base.
It's the base.
Base, right?
You always want to make your base ahead of time and make sure it's chilled.
Yep. So this is exactly. So this was made yesterday. It's cold. And so what we're going to do is slowly start pouring this nitrogen in there.
And now you need the monster music.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
This is.
You have a floor-sized go-kart, like an entire kitchen.
That's cool.
They do like a frozen margarita thing at the bazaar, tableside. And so he's taking a whisk in a metal bowl and he's doing that. It's more show than go because it's a frozen. But you do get this guy.
What you have to be careful of is, take a look now. It's freezing on the outside, right?
Yeah.
So what you got to be careful is if you dump too much of this stuff in there, what's going to happen? It's going to seize. It'll break your motor out if you're not careful. So you don't want to add too much. Plus the fact that it'll get so cold that you won't be able to get it out of the bowl for like a half an hour, unless you've got a chisel. I mean, you can chip it up. You can hear it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So you want to be careful that it's not just setting the outside, that it's freezing the liquid. It takes about, to freeze a quart of this stuff, takes about 1 liter of nitrogen.
And it'll take longer than you think. That was one thing that last time I did it. It takes longer than you think. Well, keep going.
So you don't want to just get frustrated and dump 4 cups of nitrogen in at once. You kind of have to let it do its thing. I'll tell you also, once we get this going, you can elevate the speed just a little bit. You see how it's starting to form on the whipper. I mean on the paddle. Usually what I've done is that the sides temper the inside tempers the outside, yeah. Because it helps to freeze the inside. And that's if you see it now, it's getting thick, right? It's starting to thicken up a little bit. This is when it starts to happen pretty fast. The other issue with scraping it down is you get chunks in the middle that start to shoot it all out of the machine. It's even worse if you're using dry ice. That's much worse.
So you don't want to scrape it down?
No, you don't scrape the sides down. Basically, the inside's tempering the outside. It's
My question still is though, do you want it? Why would you want to do this?
Yes, smaller batches. quicker time.
Yeah, but that liter of liquid nitrogen just cost you $500.
Compared to my ice cream machine, which is $500 for the whole machine.
What's the advantage of doing it this way other than speed? There's a major.
Longevity.
It's
No.
novel. The crystal.
No, crystals. This is the smoothest stuff you'll ever eat because there's no detectable ice crystal and structure in your tongue.
This and the Paco Jet we were talking about because of the blade,
Yeah.
no crystallization.
If you have,
Best ice cream and sorbet over it.
yeah. If you have $5,000, get a pocket jet.
We have 5,000.
Go to the National Restaurant Association show in Chicago. Go on the last day to the Paco Jet thing. And tell them you'll take it off their hands so they don't have to ship it back home.
Smart.
It's still going to be a lot of money.
Small armor length.
And then also go to the Koch manufacturer who makes the vacuum sealing machine on the last day of the show and go to them. $1,000 off.
I even turned outside.
$3,000 for my couch.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So we're just about there.
Yeah, that's right. But you see how it took? You would think it goes really fast.
Now this at this stage where you would mix in your powdered, like if you had powdered,
Yeah.
you know, Nutella, or if you did the powdered French toast, that's now is when you would mix it in. Now is when you would mix it in. Yeah. Well, that the powder would be from freezing it wet. So. Okay, so let's just taste this now.
Can somebody go?
Yes. I didn't put any salt in it.
Oh no.
So like regular sorbets, like how you have to like
Sad.
like re-spin them and
That's for the crystals.
yeah, for crystals. But this
What a
one
shame.
you
I'm
could
salted ice
you
cream.
wouldn't have to do that.
Everything
Like
is
you
salted.
would save
If you
the
froze
water,
it,
everything
probably.
in the-
Bingo. Now it depends how
Right.
you're going to store this. If you end up storing it in the freezer for a period of time, it is going to crystallize.
Okay.
We want to redo it.
Oh my god.
But I ran my sorbets every single day.
That is so good.
Oh. Oh.
Very smooth.
She was a good friend.
Very smooth.
It's like raspberries and cream.
So now think about it this way: if you really want to involve all this stuff, let's say during raspberry and blueberry season, you buy all the berries you can get your hands on because they're cheap and they're really nice, and then you freeze them, right? And then in the middle of the winter, you basically have a berry that just tastes like it just came out of the field that you can make this stuff out of that is beautiful and fresh, and that's another application that is nice. Where you can take non-seasonal items and have them as a preservation method at other times of the year. It's who's from California? So you don't know.
Yeah. We have everything
We
all
know.
year round.
If you grew up back east in like Vermont in the winter, where what's in season is like snow and trees. You know what I mean? That's all you got. Yeah, and maybe some maple syrup if you can find it dripping out of a tree somewhere. That's in season, but here you can get everything all the time, even though you shouldn't. So did everybody have a chance to taste this?
That's
And in that
Let's
same,
see.
in that same way,
Chef's
Oh,
getting.
you're
Chef's
kidding.
getting.
my last restaurant up in Portland that you guys have heard about, and even the others before that, my dehydrator was going 24/7 because I didn't have liquid nitrogen. But as I was kind of mentioning, I was the last stop on the wild mushroom pickers route, and my farmers knew to come to me and go, "I've got an extra 25 pounds of Roma tomatoes that just were picked. They're great, gorgeous, but take the last 25 pounds, and I'll give you $1, $2 off per pound." Dehydrate the crap out of them, I get the right tomatoes galore. Wild mushrooms, instead of being $10 a pound, I have $5 a pound because he's not taking the last 10 pounds home. I'm his last stop. Take them all, and I'll give you a break. And so my if I had that, I'd be flash freezing them, into the berries and fruit. So I ended up doing a lot of drying components of it, or cryo vacuuming and vacuum sealing and things like that. But how do you make money in a restaurant? You use stuff that you throw out, and you do that. Get a deal on it. My wild mushrooms did not cost me $30 a pound. 15 man. By buying wild mushrooms.
It's so good.
Right? I kind of want a second.